Timbertwig and the Dancing Dress. It was the day of the annual dance at Wiggly Wood, and Granny Knot was rummaging around in Mr. Misfit's caravan of surprises. She searched between first aid supplies for cabbages and woolen gloves for worms, spider's web repair kits, and jars of broken promises. "You sound in a very merry mood," said Mr. Misfit. "Will it be something for the dance you'll be needing?" "And what dance might that be?" asked Granny Knot teasingly. "Why, the Wiggly Wood annual dance, of course," he explained. "The one I invited you to." "Maybe I am, and maybe I'm not," she giggled girlishly. "I'm looking to see if you might have something to make me feel 70, exclaimed Mr. Misfit. 17, corrected Granny Knot with a withering glare. Mr. Misfit laughed. "Oh, I'm sorry," laughed Mr. Misfit. "Here, try this." Mr. Misfit produced a small bottle of suspicious-looking green liquid. "Mr. Misfit's tonic for teens," he announced. "Guaranteed to have you dancing all night long." "I'll take it," she snapped, grabbing hold of the bottle and rushing away. "Oh, I hope she remembers to read the instructions," Mr. Misfit muttered to himself. Granny Knot burst through the front door and ran straight to the pile of leaves that Timbertwig had been sweeping up. "Oh, Granny!" exclaimed Timbertwig. "No time to stop," she called, skipping up the stairs. "Well, I never," laughed Timbertwig. "I've never seen her move so sprightly." "Something tells me there's magic in the air," announced Abigail, brushing the leaves off the brim of Timbertwig's hat. Upstairs, Granny began running her bath. She had clearly not heard Mr. Misfit's warning about reading the instructions. Instead of adding just 2 drops to the bath water, she began spraying it all over her new dress. "Oh, this should put a spring in my step," she chuckled. Granny sighed as she slipped into the water, and before long she drifted off into a deep sleep. Had she not fallen asleep, she would have seen her party dress start to twitch, then shake, before flying out of the bathroom window and floating off into Wiggly Wood. It just so happened that at this very same moment, Muddle the Mole was returning home from the market, laden with shopping. He paused. No matter how hard he squinted his eyes, he couldn't work out what it was dancing towards him. "Hello? Hello," he called out. "Granny Knot, is that you?" In an instant, the ghostly dress twirled and knocked the bags from Muddle's grasp, then grabbed his paws and began waltzing him around. "Oh, my!" exclaimed Muddle, beginning to enjoy the experience. "Why, I haven't danced like this since I can't remember." And with a flick of his hips and a shake of his stumpy tail, Muddle and the dancing dress sashayed down the path. "Granny, are you at the bath yet?" called Timbertwig, tapping on the bathroom door. "You don't want to be late." Granny sat up quickly. The water was stone cold. "I won't be long," she replied, jumping out of the bath and grabbing her towel. "Just give me a minute to powder my nose." 30 minutes more like, declared Abigail with a cheeky smile. Just then, there was a shrill scream. "Granny, are you okay?" cried Timbertwig. Granny Knot emerged in a dripping wraparound towel. "Somebody has stolen my dress!" she sobbed uncontrollably. "Well, don't look at us," replied Timbertwig. "We wouldn't dare come in while we're in the bathroom." "What am I going to do?" she cried. "Mr. Misfit will be here soon." Might I make a suggestion? Offered Abigail. No, snapped Granny Knot. I'm not having that pesky spider interfere and ruin my big night. Not again. I don't think you've got much choice, suggested Timbertwig. Abigail produced her book of magic spells and swung her magic stick to and fro. A push and a shove, a grunt and a heave, make a fine gold dress with a wispy sleeve. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew all the leaves Timbertwig had been brushing up. They settled on Granny Knot in the shape of a long evening gown. Really? Oh, is this your idea of a joke? Shrieked Granny Knot. Oh dear, began Abigail. Instead of a fine gold dress with wispy sleeves, I've created a fine old mess of crispy leaves. Just then, there was a knock at the door. I'll just go and see who that is, jumped Timbertwig, happy to escape his granny's icy stare. Timbertwig opened the front door to be greeted by Mr. Misfit presenting a beautiful bouquet of flowers. Granny, your boyfriend's here, called Timbertwig. Granny Knot appeared at the top of the stairs, modelling her new dress. Are those flowers for me? She asked nonchalantly, rustling down the stairs, pretending that it was the most natural thing in the world to wear a dress like this. My, that's a bonny outfit for sure, said Mr. Misfit, offering Granny the bouquet. Granny thanked him, crunching as she curtsied. We'll be away now, Timbertwig. You be sure to tidy up this mess while I'm out, said Granny, taking Mr. Misfit by the arm. Timbertwig sighed with relief when they'd left. So, how are you going to fix this then? Oh, don't worry, began Abigail. The spell will wear off in a couple of hours, then the dress of leaves will simply disappear. We need to be there to see this for ourselves, laughed Timbertwig. I wouldn't want to miss it. Timbertwig and Abigail arrived at the dance, which was in full swing. They watched as the people jived the night away to the music of the Fungi Five. As the final chord was struck, the dancers cheered, then sat down in anticipation of the big announcement. Down in the dumps, Dennis stepped up to the microphone to declare the best winning dancers. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think I've had as much fun since I got stuck up a tree, he began. So, without much further ado, I would like to award the prize for this year's best dancers to Mr. Misfit and Granny Knot. Granny Knot jumped to her feet and tried to get Mr. Misfit to join her. Oh, no, my poor wee legs won't take another step, he puffed. I'm sorry. Is there anyone here with the energy to dance with me? She called. Just then, the doors flung open and in swept Muddle the Mole, wearing Granny's dress. He twirled across the floor and swept Granny off her feet. There was an almighty gasp as she was lifted high above the crowd. Timbertwig and Abigail looked on from their hiding place beneath a trestle table. Any minute now, whispered Abigail in Timbertwig's ear. Any minute what? Replied Timbertwig. He didn't have long to wait as the dress of leaves began to fall apart. My dress! Cried Granny Knot, trying to hold the leaves together to contain her embarrassment. Oh, my goodness, gasped Mr. Misfit as she landed on the floor in just her underwear. My dress! Cried Granny a second time when she realised what Muddle the Mole was wearing. Before she could grab hold of the dress, it slipped off Muddle, jumped out of the window and flew away into Wiggly Wood. The crowd cheered as Granny Knot bravely gave chase, shouting, Stop that dress, somebody! Stop that dress! Mr. Misfit turned to Timbertwig with a puzzled expression. I can only think that your granny used my tonic for teens without reading the instructions, he began. Well, the good thing is the tonic will have worn off by the morning and she'll be able to get her dress back. There is one other thing, though, said Mr. Misfit, pausing to stifle a laugh. What is it? Asked Timbertwig. Well, she was supposed to take the tonic to make her feel young again, he smiled. And your wee granny has just danced the whole night like a teenager without tasting a drop. Everyone agreed that this was the best annual dance ever and would be remembered for years to come.